now, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, is a man with the zeal to tackle many of Nigeria's challenges. He's also a man of many parts. The former governor of Lagos State is seen to be a great manager of resources, and after years of mentoring and grooming political leaders, is looking to take up the mantle of leadership by contesting for the position of a president. After his declaration to run for president in January, he has been seen consulting with other governors, rulings and stakeholders to get their support. So we've got a British-trained Nigerian documentary photographer, cultural anthropologist and author, Dayo Adedayo, has been documenting the achievements of the Jagaban, and he's joining me in the studio. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
Oh, thank you, sir. Good morning.
It's good to see you. So it's good to see the eyes behind the eye that actually, captures the moments of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. How's this been for you?
It is an honor for me to know such a great Nigerian and a son of this world. And unfortunately, it's not just me alone. There are about 7 photographers. Sunday Adedeji, Ademola Olaniran, Mama Shegun, Adekoya.
There's a female photographer as well.
Yes, who was actually the personal photographer to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu from 1999 to 2007. Wow. You also have Taiwo Okanlawon. You have Lukman Olaonipekun. These are young Nigerians that have been documenting the city, the state, and the country in one way or the other. And there are 2 other photographers that I've forgotten their names, but I remember. They actually needed to be celebrated. And why the exhibition? For me personally, Asiwaju is someone that a lot of folks actually did not really understand. And I've been privileged to work with him personally, have his portrait taken that took me several days. And I've also been privileged to be at the dining table with him. Not
with your camera?
No, just us eating.
Okay.
Just the 2 of us. Not once, not twice, not 3 times. And in all these occasions, he will tell me to ask him any questions. Since then, I've studied him deeply because I'm a student of history and student of politics as well. And when you look at the history of Yoruba race, if they're having a football team today in Yoruba race, both dead and alive, Asiwaju will be in the first 11. Because when you look at the political history, you take Oduduwa, the founder of the race, you take Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Chief Samuel Akinsoya, who formed the Action Group in 1951, you take MKO Abiola, who was not even liked in Yoruba land. Then, before SDP of the 90s, it was after June election that everybody started shouting MKO, MKO, MKO. During the life of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the Second Republic, Chief Obafemi Awolowo was like a god in Yoruba land. Even though MKO Abiola, Chief MKO Abiola, had all the money in the world, he could not even penetrate Abeokuta Central, which is just a senatorial zone, not to talk of Yoruba land. Then you have Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And when you see some of the pictures, because you need to study pictures, it was with Chief MKO Abiola to meet General Abacha in those days during the crisis of June 12. And when you look at the way he was looking at Abacha, there is an image where General Dia was looking at MKO Abiola, and Asiwaju was looking at General Abacha. People that study psychology will be able to say, wow, this guy really studied everybody combined together, and those are the things that made him today.
So looking at Asiwaju with your physical eyes, and then when you handle the camera, you see him through the camera lens as well.
That's
what
right.
do you often see? Is it different? The image, is it different with the naked eyes vis-a-vis that of the camera lenses?
They're totally different things. And luckily, when my training when I studied photography was for me to be the commander-in-chief. So if you are sitting in front of my lens, there are things that I will tell you normally that I would not say if I didn't have my camera with me, because I want to dominate my environment. That was the training that I got.
Right.
And it was an interaction, you know, over a week. It was an interaction between the two of us. Say this, do this. And on the last day of the photo shoot, and I told him, sir, I want to see that determination in your face when you are making critical decisions to say, oh, this is it, that is it. Asiwaju changed. And of course, my camera just went up, boom, 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 boom. Where did I get that? I get that from the person I wanted to be. He's late now, Yusuf Cash.
Okay.
I'm sure you would have seen his picture before.
Right.
He photographed Winston Churchill, the picture that they used during the World War, where he was frowning, standing akimbo. And why was that picture so significant? You would never see Winston Churchill's picture without a cigar. And he yanked off the cigar off him, and he just frowned, and the shutter just went off.
Wow.
You know, so that singular image for me, it's something I will always cherish for the rest of my life. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, to me, it's someone that is underrated. We don't sell our stories. We don't tell our stories as well. We don't market ourselves. It's just like the case of Nigeria. I tell people Nigeria is the most beautiful country in the world. And people doubt to me because I have been opportune to see all these things. And same thing with Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. When you look at its history, how it turned Lagos around.
Yeah.
So some of those pictures are things. I mean, look at Ahmadu. This was a show.
I'm just trying to even get you to talk to us. Talk to us through what we are showing you on the screen. The pictures that they'll definitely come up now. So talk to us through some of these pictures.
Okay,
this was Asiwaju.
I mean, you can see the determination. Asiwaju is an easy go person. Very likable, enjoyable man when he's in his elements, but when there is serious decision to be taken, I mean, you can see him there. That's him in front. Those two guys in front, the record part. I mean, look at Idumago. This was Lagos that the young generation did not see. This is Idumago too. Right. I mean, look at the heaps of refuse all over the place, and you can see Asiwaju enjoying himself. Lucky go guy, easy going. That's him on his wedding day to Senator Remi Tinubu. She doesn't like being called Oluremi, and she said, Dayo, it's only my husband that I reserved that name from Oluremi. So if you are very close
that's an endearment to her.
Yes, that's and so I will not bother going to that full name. So that's Senator Remi Tinubu. That look at Ahmadu Bello way. Look at what Asiwaju did in that axis. There was no Eco-Atlantic. It was Asiwaju's idea to have Eco-Atlantic. It was Asiwaju's idea to have the Lagos Free Trade Zone. These are monumental things, and I tell people, if we have 37 Asiwaju Bola Tinubu in Nigeria, in all the 36 states and Abuja, I bet there will be hardly any Nigerian that wants to travel or leave this country, because one is a voracious reader, and I'm a fan of someone that reads, because when you read, it opens up your mind.
Absolutely.
And that comes to another thing I will tell you. During the photo shoot, I said, sir, can I have the books that you really loved most? And he went into his library and came out with some books. Show me the one that tell me the one that you really liked. I won't say that because I'll be marketing the book. And all these things just made me to say, this guy is truly a great man.
And truly, they say leaders are readers as well. And that's something you can find in the person of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. So when you heard that he said, leading Nigeria, not ruling Nigeria, is a lifetime ambition. How did you receive this, news from him? It may not be news to you because it could be something that you already knew, long time coming.
Honestly, I think in the Nigeria of today, politically, I do not see anyone, not because I love Asiwaju more than anybody else. As a student of history and politics, this guy has been out of government for 15 years. And like General Ibrahim Babangida said of Awolowo when he died, and that is the mistake we usually make in this part of the world, that Awolowo was always in the news and the person that we discuss all the time.
Right.
Same thing with Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. At the exhibition, you will see a roll of about 18 governors when they have the Southern, 17 governors when they have the Southern Governors Forum in the year 2000. And when you look at all of them, you just wonder, where are they now? Yes, this guy is being talked about. If Asiwaju sneezes today, it will become a headline news the following day. And everybody will be tweeting about it. He said this, he said that, he said that. I don't want to wait. May God give him sound health and long life. I don't want to wait until when he passed before everybody starts saying he's the best man that should have ruled Nigeria. So I just thought, yes, what a way to celebrate this great Nigeria than to showcase some of his works, the ideas, the men that worked with him, starting from the vice president who is in Abuja today to some of the ministers. You see them 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
Where were they then? And it's a builder of men as well, which is human capital. And when you look at Lagos, the trajectory of Lagos compared vis-a-vis with other states in the country that has the kind of potentials which are even more richer than Lagos State, but are not utilizing what they have. I mean, you look at when Obasanjo wasn't paying the Lagos State money because he said, no, we must have more than 20 local governments in Lagos. Kano State was created when Lagos State was created. Right. Today, between Kano and Jigawa State, they have 71 local governments. So first line money from Abuja go to 71 local governments. Meanwhile, Lagos will only get 20. And the bulk of the money comes from Lagos. And because of the pause and so many federal government establishments in Lagos as well, the degradation, the roads, the infrastructures, there are more people. I think Lagos is about nearly 4,000 square kilometers, whereas Kano is about 30 something. I'm not sure of the figure now, but Lagos is the smallest in terms of sizes, and Kano is about 10 times larger than Lagos. So you can see the contraption of what is going on. Is the most viable state in the country, not because of the people and not because of the economy. It's because someone somewhere put people who can do the job. It can as well be run down. It's not because you're earning $1 million a week that will make you to be rich. If you don't know how to manage your economy, of course you will go down. And if you look at the idea of how he was able to create wealth when there was no money, that to me is something that can be replicated at the national level.
All right, so the phrase, the catchphrase, the last man standing. Talk to us about it. Why the last man standing?
That's very simple. In 2003, when Action for Democracy, AD, was in the Southwest, because they were only in the Southwest, 6 governors. 2003 election, PDP took out 5. Okay. So it was only Asiwaju Bola Tinubu that was remaining. That was when, I didn't even know who coined it then, the last man standing. He was the only one that remained out of the 6. So since then, they've been calling him the last man standing. And what happened, if you look at the pictures that I'm using for this exhibition, was a lone tree in the desert that I shot in 2005 in Calabarge, Borno State. I was just driving past with my crew, and suddenly I saw this image, boom. I stopped, and my crew, I said, Dayo, what is going on here? What is going on? I said, look at that tree. And they just would not. I said, look at. You know, the most successful image I've ever taken in my life. And I said, look at the last man standing. He said, no, I took the picture. Digital was in a camera then. I don't think they have. Our phones then do not have camera. So my guys could not see what I saw then, you know. So after I came back to Lagos, processed the picture, and I sent them some pictures, and they said, oh, wow, Dayo. Same thing to Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. So the reason why he was called the last man standing was because out of the 6 AD governors that we had in 1999, he was the only one that survived the PDP tsunami. And ironically, without Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, there would be no APC today. PDP, like their chairman said, I don't know the name of their chairman, and who said PDP is going to rule for 60 years. That would have easily been possible without Asiwaju political ways of doing things. Because from that singular tree in the desert that you saw, the seeds has been blown away by wind, getting more trees. Now you have other states coming. Gradually you have Ondo, Oyo, Osun, Edo again, expanding even up to Edo to get Edo. And not just that alone, as good as he is, that's the lone tree there in the desert. You know, I mean, to me, this is just too good. And at the end of the day, you look at Asiwaju Bola Tinubu has not been celebrated because one, in Yoruba land, Baba Ogunde said in those days, we have to look back and think about ourselves. Even though that it's good for us not to think one way, but at the same time, when we see someone that is doing something right, we should all join hands together to make that person great. We talk about Awolowo today, but when Awolowo was alive, what did they do? People were castigating him right, left, and center. And MK Abiola, that we are all shouting about his name today, was number 1 enemy to Obafemi Awolowo. So I pray Asiwaju live long, and my prayer is for him, for God to grant him his heart desire.
He's actually, received a lot of endorsements, here and there. He's traversed this country, and he understands Nigeria. Tell us about the wealth. Oh, well, you've actually made mention of the books that he reads. He's read a lot of books. He knows about Nigeria, knows about other countries, vis-a-vis how this country should be governed. But recently he said something like, Nigeria is facing a lot of challenges. So Governor Sanwo-Olu said he's got a magic wand to turn things around. Do you believe so?
I have no doubt in my mind that should Asiwaju Bola Tinubu stand at Eagle Square on May 29, 2023, I have no doubt in my mind that the ball will start rolling from that moment. And this country, in 3 months, people will be asking themselves, why haven't we done this before? Are you aware that there was no last mile in Lagos until Bola Tinubu came into government in 99? Take out last mile out of Lagos Road for 2 days today, and you will see the chaos that will be in Lagos. In terms of financial disparity, I do not think there is anyone that understands him today politically, because what we have done, the few of us that are lucky to have formal education and are doing very well in our private sectors, refuse to go into politics. But we are the ones that have the loudest mouth to be talking here and there. Without Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, there was no Loma. You can see the deaths in the Dumago. There was no Loma in Lagos until he came. He increased the numbers of general hospitals by 5 between 1999 and 2007. And Lasut was now, even that Lasut is the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, became much better than the federal one, Idiaraba, which was a world standard hospital that people came from abroad to get treatment.
So he positioned Lagos as the poster state, the captain of all other states in the country.
Not just that alone. Yes, not just that alone. he said his ambition is to be the president of Nigeria.
Yeah.
For you to have an ambition, you must lay foundation. There must be things that you must have done or you wanted to do. So it's a building block, little by little.
So it's different from, you know, those who are saying we are being persuaded.
Yeah, people wanted me to.
No, he actually studies Nigeria, he knows Nigeria, and knows how to lead it, even from the front.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that is Asiwaju for you. And not just that alone. Asiwaju knows everybody and everyone in this country. So he knows the round hole the round peg to put in the round hole. I mean, you can see that in Lagos. If you know the amount of people, politicians, that were against him in 2007 when he said His Excellency Babatunde Raji Fashola is going to be the next governor. People were shouting, do. It's not possible, not part of us. Look at what happened. BRF came and changed the trajectory of Lagos. He is now even performing much better at the federal level.
All right. Because we are pressed for time, Dayo Adedayo, we've actually seen Asiwaju Bola Tinubu moved from north to south, consulting, and we saw a lot of people who were coming out to receive him. And we also saw that Oni of Ife prayed for him close to an hour. Olugbo, you know, raised his hand in endorsement and all that. But this man who has been standing and, you know, moving and talking with, you know, tirelessly, I want to ask you this question because of your, you know, affinity with Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, based on what people are saying, and trying to play the devil's advocate. Is Asiwaju as fit as a fiddle to handle the rigors of being a president of Nigeria? Is it?
Luckily,
but by saying as fit as a fiddle,
I know what I'm talking about.
You know, is health status.
Yes, I know.
Is it a strong man as, you know, as that?
Asiwaju of 2007 and Asiwaju of 2022 are two different things. Just like you, I'm 58. You can't compare my life to when I was 50. But having said that, luckily, he made a statement about a week or two ago that he said that he's not contesting to be a bricklayer or a carpenter, something like that, you know. But what you should realize is the brain. I've seen an American president in wheelchair throughout his administration, on a wheelchair.
Right.
What's his name now? During the Second World War, being pushed around. Asiwaju can still walk, and the most important thing is the brain. And like you said earlier, a leader who reads is different from someone who haven't read a page of a book, you know. And in terms of health, I'm not a medical doctor, I'm a photographer.
Right.
And from what I can see, what matters in life is telling people what to do. When you delegate, and you put the right tool
in the right,
you put the right the round in the round hole. I mean, look at what is happening.
He's got all of those things. Just like you just answered the $60 question about the health, saying that he's a strong man, as fit as a fiddle. So, as a way of wrapping up, the last man standing. What's your final thoughts? What's your parting shot?
On the last man standing, I want people to come. It's open to the public on Monday 28th, but on 29th is strictly by invitation. It's for people to come, because when you have a mind or an opinion, if you are 40 and you still have the same opinion at 50, that means you've wasted 10 years of your life without learning anything. What I want people to come to do is to come for the exhibition. It's being held at the Eco Hotel Grand Ballroom to see the Asiwaju that they've never known. Maybe you can be swayed to say, yes, this guy I've tried. To me, he's the best politician in Nigeria today that can turn things around. Our major challenge in Nigeria today is economy, and I think is the best man that can change that economy for us.
Makes sense. British-trained Nigerian documentary photographer, cultural anthropologist, and author Dayo Adedayo, thank you so much for giving us this beautiful insight into the person of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. And we're so much, inspired by some of the things that he's done and things that he will be doing. A very strong man at that. Thank you so much for coming on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.